Okay, now it's time for a French turn again. I'm not going to go in detail into this. I'll just tell you an overview now what I'm going to try and do. I'll make the dice rolls and then show you what the situation is. What the French player wants to do is he wants to move these two cavalry units into contact with these two. That's going to involve at least 2 action tests, one to cross the stream or one to move into contact with the opposing unit, and these cavalry are going to move up to support them for any counterattack. I'm also going to move the French general to this kind of area so that he can move to retake any dice rolls that need to be taken. Meanwhile, the infantry is going to continue its advance towards these infantry here. So I'll pause now while I go through those dice rolls and move those units. Okay, so the French player has moved, and it's been a mixed bag. The infantry advanced, but our unit and bombardment failed to move, and the French commander is now too far away to give it a reroll. So the second line of French units moved through to carry on the advance. Meanwhile, with the cavalry, these units here, these 2 units needed a bit of help from the general to cross the stream and to charge. They managed to fail 2 of their action tests, which means that the commanding general was out of action point pips, but they did manage to contact the allied units, which then conformed to them, so they have moved across to conform with these units. Unfortunately, this unit then tried to move up behind this unit and failed its action test, and because the general was out of command pips, had to remain there. So the next thing to do is for the French player to assign artillery and to do its morale checks it's going to make on the allied units. So the first thing the French player must decide what to do is who to target with the artillery. Because there are now morale checks taking place, it's probably better for the French player to now fire in support of existing morale tests rather than bombarding. By firing in support, he will give a -1 to any morale tests that are taken. So he decides this is the most threatening position, because we have some elite cavalry here fighting some green poor cavalry, so they'll need to be fairly lucky to beat them, and he's already had a setback here, so he decides to shoot them. So the French player decides to make this Dutch unit in the Allied army take its morale test first. It is an orange marker, which means it's poor cavalry and not good at fighting against enemy cavalry, so it receives -1 for that. The French unit has also moved into contact, and that gives it another -1, so -2 overall. But it gains a +1 because it is defending the line of the stream, and then it gains another +1 because it is within support distance, has some other troops within support distance behind. So overall, it's a total of 0. They roll 2 dice and score 5, so that is a failure. Move the general out of the way, sorry. The unit has failed its morale check, and it takes 1 hit. Let's move back. So it moves back here like this, so the unit has effectively moved behind here and then rallied like so behind like this, because it has a support in front of it to do that. Because the unit is large, it has effectively 3 morale failures, but now it loses one of those, so it goes down to 2, and it uses this marker, so now it is a normal unit like any other. Next, we need to roll for this unit. This unit is Spanish cavalry, so they are being charged by this cavalry unit, so that gives them contact by this cavalry unit, so it gives them a -1. They are not defending the streamline, but they do have some support from this unit here, so that again is a straight dice roll, so they need to score 8. They have scored 5. Perhaps at this point the commander here might want to move up to here, So it moves to touch this unit here, which means that it gives them another chance to pass their test. It does not alter the odds, but it does mean that the unit has a second chance to pass the test on the original odds. So the unit was on straight dice roll, so it rolls again to see what happens now. But bear in mind, if something very negative happens, it will happen to the commander as well. So they roll 2 dice, and they roll 6. Still not good enough for them to pass their test. So the unit, as with this unit, moves behind the supporting unit, like so. Okay, there we go. And this unit, because it is a standard unit, receives a red marker to show that it is just 1 life left. Finally, we have to roll for this unit. This unit is an elite unit, which gives it a +1, but it does not have any supporting units, so that is all the pluses. It has pursued uncontrollably, which gives it a -1. It is also under supporting fire from the artillery, which gives it another -1. So overall, it is on -1. So they roll the dice and score 8. With the -1 is a 7, so they have failed their morale test. So normally with these units they fall back behind supports, but this does not have any supporting units, so it is going to fall back 6 base widths, like so. Put that there. And also be facing away from the enemy. Also, of course, they've taken a hit, so they are now on 1 life. So not a very good morale test round for the Allies, but perhaps they can get some comfort out of it, because now we need to do pursuit tests for the units which have won them their combats. So this unit here must take a pursuit test. This unit is elite, so it gets no pluses to the dice, and if it rolls 5 or 6, it will pursue. If it rolls less than that, it is fine. It rolls a dice, scores 4, so it will not pursue. This unit also must roll for pursuit. This unit is trained, so again, it needs, if it scores 5 or 6 with the +1, it will pursue. So they roll the dice and score 3, which goes to a 4. They are not pursuing. This unit, on the other hand, is green, so they get a +2 to the pursuit dice. So they again need a 5 or 6. They roll the dice. 5 + 2 is 7, so they are pursuing. They then roll to see how far they will pursue, which is in base widths, and they scored a 3. So they go charging forward 3, like so, and heading towards this unit. So this unit has done an uncontrolled pursuit, and if it can be contacted by an enemy unit, then they will receive a -1 in the upcoming morale check in their turn. That completes the end of the French turn, and it is now the Allies' turn to respond.